everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Or Sunday. Wherever you are. So what are we doing today? Well, first of all, I'm going to wait for a better than average group to be on before I do a little bit of a reveal as to what I've been doing the last 3 days. That's analyzing colonization. And before I give this preview of what I've learned and what I've found out, I need for more people to be on. I need more people to be on because this is incredibly good news. It's going to change your gameplay, and it's going to change the way you do colonization. So before we do that, just go over to particulars. What I usually ask is for you to subscribe, check the like button, leave a comment, and smash the notification bell. Now here's what I want you to do. If you find that this information is valuable and you actually do research it and you go and follow through, what I'd like you to do is leave comments. Leave comments and tell me exactly what you've learned. Why? Because that's the only way I'm going to get feedback. I can't do this for myself. So even though I have 10 accounts and I can actually review 10 accounts and 10 different aspects of colonization, I need more input than just my own. So I would like you to follow through and leave a comment. I'm asking politely. Please leave a comment and tell me what you've learned from your own analysis. Now I'm going to wait a little bit before we even start talking as to what I've learned. I'm going to wait a little bit. Because I guarantee once you've learned what I've learned, your eyes are going to be open. Unless you already know this. But I'm guaranteeing this is going to be new information for you. Why is that? Because I went to ChatGPT, and even ChatGPT doesn't know this information, doesn't have this information. And ChatGPT gathers its knowledge from the internet and what's out there and then gives you an answer. But it couldn't give me an answer. And that is because no one has ever posted this, videotaped this, streamed this information about colonization. Now, you've watched my videos, and I've been pretty much vocal about colonization, about how it doesn't really offer anything. It doesn't actually give you any benefits. It doesn't pay you anything. You know, your weekly payment is nothing, right? You've seen your weekly payment, you're looking at it and it's like, ugh, why am I doing all this work and I'm not making anything? Actually, if I show you what I've learned so far in the last 3 days, you're going to be incredibly surprised. And you're going to see how you can turn colonization in one of the biggest money-making parts of Elite Dangerous. And I'm saying this will be passive. This is going to be passive income. This is going to be stuff that comes to you every week. So, what am I doing right now? I have 10 tunes, 10 accounts. I call them tunes because that's what we used to call them in Dungeons & Dragons. I have 10 accounts, 10 characters. And I pretty much have been running colonization the same way across the board. Except something's been happening in colonization. Something has been happening in colonization. I've actually made mistakes. I want to call them mistakes because they weren't actually done on purpose. And those mistakes now have led to some results. Kind of like leaving fungus in a petri dish and you just invented penicillin. Kind of like that. Now, this mechanism is in the game. It's not an exploit. It's not something that I did to manipulate the game. So, this is something that's in the game already that exists. So, I want you to have it, but I'm going to wait until I have a better than average group, and then I will talk about what I've learned in my analysis of my 10 accounts. Now, if you want to know more, join Discord, come on Discord, leave messages, tell me what you think, and we'll keep chatting about colonization and everything else. Otherwise, if you don't want to do anything like that, that's okay too. That's okay too. Alright. So, right now I'm taking Sir Dragster, one of my accounts, to my feeder system so I can load up my fleet carrier with stuff. And I'm going to be doing... I'm going to be hauling to my main... to the Golden Spike system. I'm going to be hauling to the Golden Spike system. Now I'm building 2 refineries there. So I need these in my page. Now I'm not using any programs. You don't really need to download any programs into your computer. I personally don't want to do that. God knows Windows has enough problems as it is. I download a new program and it's going to give me issues. So I'm going to wait. Till I have a good enough group. I'm actually surprised there's not enough people here. There's nobody here. I'm really surprised about that. I'm really surprised that there's nobody here. Because I would have expected to have a massive group of people wanting to know what I've discovered. But that's okay. I'm actually going to keep streaming this a few times till I get the word out there and people know exactly how to deal with colonization, the biggest money maker in Elite Dangerous.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Passive money maker. I want to say passive money maker. That's really a shame. What the hell? Threw me out of my seat. Well, that's nice. Okay. You may not leave your seat. I was in my seat. I don't know what happened with there. That's nice. So I'm gonna be hauling for these 2 refineries that I'm building in the Golden Spike system. I really wish that they would let us change the names of the systems. At least the names. Maybe not the planets, but the names of the system. There's a few of them I personalized. They're looking for money. They're making new ships when the actual money maker is the name change. Really, the name change. Changing the names of planets and systems. And there won't be anybody to protest, boycott, or anything like that. As you know, Megan has left the game. He says he's going to play once in a while, but I doubt he'll be playing at all. Usually this happens when a person gets bored. And the last time he actually streamed, he looked like he was bored out of his mind. But this happens to people who don't really love something, like this game. And it happens. And this is what we have to deal with. But I wish Megan stayed because I would have actually bounced this to him and seeing what he thinks about it, because I'm sure it's not in his 150-page dissertation on colonization. Yeah. Nope, I have not yet started to tell you what I have learned. I'm waiting for a good amount of people to be on, and then I will actually stream what I've learned about colonization. Okay. So 07 to you if you're hanging out, just watching. 07, good to see you. It's 8 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I am going to be streaming for a while because I want to finish these 2 refineries before Thursday. I cannot believe on the biggest day of colonization, and there's nobody on the stream. I really cannot believe that. At this point, there's nobody on the stream. But I'm going to keep on streaming until we have people come on. But I'm really, really, really surprised on the biggest freaking day of colonization, and nobody's here. Nobody's here. Has colonization completely lost its luster? Has it lost its luster? Yep. Maybe that's the case. But I'm going to be hauling, and that's what's important right now. I'm going to be hauling to prove my point. If I fix my accounts and they're all doing better, that means I'm making more money. I have 10 accounts. There's a few things we know about colonization, is that we have a cap of 5 million per system. So we have a cap of 5 million per system. Thank you, Tom, who actually brought that up. We completely forgot about it. We thought it was 5 million overall. Like, you can't make more than 5 million for the whole bunch. But no, it's 5 million per system. So what does that mean? Well, if you have 10 systems, you can make 50 million, right? If you have 5 million per system. But it seems pretty hard, because to make 5 million, you have a lot of construction, right? You have to have a lot of construction. Not necessarily, because you don't need a lot of construction to get to the 5 million. You just need to know the background system of what's going on and what you need to actually build to boost your payment every month. every week. Again, I'm gonna wait until we have some people, and then I'll do the big reveal. So far we have nobody, and I usually stream in the morning, but I don't want to do that today. Let's see, do I have? No, I don't. Aluminum. Let's go with the aluminum. So I have two things, two systems. Two things to build, aluminum. Two things to build, two refineries to build.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Oh, 07. So I'm waiting until we have a pretty good group, and then I'm going to do the big reveal. I'm sure if you're watching this after the fact, you're wondering what the hell. But I will actually clip this video and make another one about what I've learned, because I think it should be like a short or something that people can actually go to and quickly look at it. But if you've been here for the while, I've been talking about colonization. People are wondering why I'm still doing colonization. Ricardo stopped doing colonization. He stopped actually videotaping altogether. I don't even know if he's still playing. Other people stopped videotaping altogether too, like Mekin, he's done. There's a lot of people who no longer actually stream, and some people picked up the slack, but right now it looks like I'm the only one doing Elite Dangerous daily. So hopefully this will help you in the future.
Speed restrictions are now lifted.
But I'm gonna wait because I don't have anybody on. I have 0 viewers right now. So I'm gonna wait until I have some viewers. I know I started at an inappropriate time, but oh well. What's up, Jasper? What's going on, buddy? I'm waiting till I have a nice group, and then I'm gonna do the reveal. But so far I'm gonna do some colonization, some hauling, because I got these 2 refineries I need to build in my Golden Spike system.
Orbital flight engaged.
But you'll be amazed at what I learned. And as of yesterday, I believe that colonization is the biggest moneymaker in Elite Dangerous. Bigger than any other thing you can do. And it's passive. It's passive income. Passive income. But you have to do a little bit of work. Calculated work. Coordinated work. You have to do a little bit of work. So I'm gonna wait a little bit until I get a good group, and then I'll actually start giving you guys some evidence. 3 pieces of evidence from 3 of my accounts. I have 10 accounts, as you know, Jasper. 10 accounts. So I play a lot, but I did the 10 accounts for the Dodec, for storage. You know, now that I don't need storage because of the squadron carrier, they're kind of laying dormant. And the other day I was going through them and kind of doing an analysis of what's what, and believe it or not, I was surprised. Yeah, but I think this is a good thing. I was thinking about scaling down, just going down to maybe 3 or 4. But in regards to colonization, I need that many. Okay? Like, I need that many because it takes about 10 carriers to build a T3. Okay? 10 carriers. 10 carriers to build a T3. Can you believe it? So if I load up 10 carriers, send them on their way, and then offload them, it's actually faster when I offload. When I unload the carriers. So it's actually faster. I go one by one real fast. And then I have people help me if I put up the stuff for sale. They can help me once I have those carriers in the system. So a T3 takes about 10 runs. I like to do it all at once. I don't like to go back and forth and wait 15 minutes 15 million times. Think about that. I would have to wait 15 minutes 10 times. Actually 30 minutes because it's round trip, right? So that's why I do that. But it's excessive. I actually have 12 accounts, not 10. I have 12 accounts and 12 carriers. Why is that? Because I work in threes. Because you need 3 carriers to do a T2, to do a Coriolis. But in my kind of audit that I did the last 3-4 days, I've learned something amazing. Amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. Yeah, always, dude. Always. That's a 5-minute trip. You can load up a fleet carrier in less than an hour and a half. Yeah, I've always used escape pod method, and I've actually I actually should actually make a short video on it. Put it in the player's manual. But I always do the escape pod method when loading a fleet carrier. It's like the easiest thing. You're only flying up, and the way down is microseconds. Okay, I got 3 now. 07 commanders. Alright, so I'm waiting for a little bit more people before I do the big reveal.
Welcome to this independent station, Commander. Please fly safely during arrival and departure. Request approved.
I'll probably make a short of this stream. Yeah, I always do the escape pod method. Always do it. When I'm doing when I'm loading from a ground station, I always do the escape pod method. It's the only way to do it, actually. The only way to do it. It should be about 10 minutes before I start.
Landing gear deployed.
No, I'm still waiting, Jasper. I'm still waiting. Just have a nice group and then I'll start talking. I'll wait a little bit longer.
Landing complete. Dispatching ground crew. Welcome, Commander.
I'll just wait a little bit longer. Because it's important. It's not this is gameplay. And no one has ever streamed this before. I look for it. Even the information online is not correct.
Cargo hold.
So if you go online, you go to ChatGPT, you won't find correct information regarding this information I'm going to give you. You just won't find it. ChatGPT is wrong. Now what I need is 2697. I need twice that. 2697 of aluminum. $2697 of aluminum times 2. So I'm collecting. I haven't revealed yet, so if you guys just hang out for a little bit longer, maybe another 10 minutes or so, then I'll start talking about what I found out in my analysis. Now I base my analysis on the 10 accounts that I have. Going through all 10, I've noticed some things, some anomalies. And I don't want to say they're anomalies, but probably there's stuff that's unnoticeable that people have not noticed about their actual payments. Now, as being that I have 10 accounts, I have 10 different points of view. I have 10 different points of view. Okay? And that's what gave me the amazing result, or I want to say synopsis of what colonization can do for you. Can do for you in this game.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Now I wanted to do this video in this system, which is my feeder system, which is ideal for this video because it has all sorts of types of planets, so I can get my point across very well in this actual video. Okay, still gonna wait a little bit, just gonna wait a little bit longer. Gotta have a few more people on, and then I'll do the big reveal.
Welcome, Commander. Thank you for visiting this carrier. Docking request accepted. A landing pad has been assigned to you, Commander. Request accepted.
Last night I was watching Conan the Barbarian, and let me tell you, they just don't make movies like that anymore. There was an older actor in there, I don't have his name, but there was an older actor in there, and
Landing gear deployed.
it was good. It was good. Now, you know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't act then. He was just a bodybuilder. He just grunts and says a few words. But it's just such a good movie, low budget. I really loved that movie, and then I just thought about all the different movies I actually like, and all of them are way back then. And there's like nothing new that I can actually say I like. Really, literally nothing new. Nothing new. So we need is 5394. 5394. Now, Jasper asked about the escape pod method. I won't do the escape pod method in a station that is so close to the fleet carrier. I mean, literally 7.64 megameters away, right? So I'm not gonna actually do the escape pod method to a station so close. The escape pod method is best done with a ground T3 that has a shipyard. You want to do it with a shipyard, or at ground T1. I've done some construction, and I did some, which I haven't actually posted, but I've done some construction, and I've actually manipulated some T1s, surface T1s, to actually hold shipyards in this system, actually.
Orbital flight
In this system. So I've actually built refinery economies on those planets with the local T1. So yeah, it can be done. I don't know why I actually didn't do it. I don't know why I didn't actually follow through. There seems to be a bug, a construction bug. Just FYI, there is a construction bug that even though you've finished your orbital construction, it still says that it's unfinished. In the construction detail, like for instance, if I go and show you this map, okay, and go into construction mode, architect mode, it doesn't tell you how many, because of this one station, I Station Zebra. All right, it doesn't tell you how, it says that it still has one construction left. So there is a construction bug. FYI. Okay, I got 5 people on. This is good.
You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
This is good. Very, very good. I will clip this. I will clip this to make sure that I'll put it in videos and let it be part of those videos. Like the time that I'm speaking about this little bit of a secret that we don't know anything about. Little secret. All right.
Landing gear deployed.
Okay. Jasper's back. So now I can begin. I'll just stop what I'm doing and go over the details.
Landing complete. Clear to disembark.
Let's see, I'm at minutes, so I can clip this later. I'm at 32:45. So this way I can clip this later. Okay. One of the things that Tom did the other day, and I'll start with that because that's the actual the beginning of all this, is that he said that we get 5 million per system. 5 million is the cap, right? They cap you at 5 million. So per system. I actually ChatGPT'd it, I checked online, and that yes, that is true. It's 5 million per system. Now you might think, well, 5 million is a lot to actually do because you get about 10,000 per point, right? That's the common knowledge on the internet and also on ChatGPT is that you get 10,000 credits per point. So if you notice your actual architect payment, you'll see there's a score. There's a score. And that score is a digital number, right? 3, 6, 15, etc. But then it has what actual credits it gives you, minus the happiness, right? It gives you some kind of credit at the end of the little statement. And so if you notice this guy, Sir Dragster, he's actually getting for a score of 3, which is a small T1. Score of 3 would be like a T1 construction. He's getting 60,000. Okay? But other ones for a score of 3, you only get 30,000. So what's this? Why the difference? So then that's what I've been dealing with for the last 3 days. And since I have 10 accounts, I can go through all 10 and find things out. Like find out why that is. Why the hell do I have such a big disparity between actual accounts? So notice this is this system. This is this character. Let me put in Sir Dracos. Why can't I see it? Because I don't know why I can't see it. Why can't I see it? Window capture. I can't see it. Slideshow. Let's do a slideshow. See if I can. I can do that in the slideshow, maybe. I'm trying to show you guys the actual picture. Why can't I do that? Oh, here. Alright, let me do the slideshow. File. This is a lot of technology, dude. I'm not into technology. I like not doing anything. Where's my pictures? Ah. Kanako. Dracos. Okay. File, Kanako. File. Sir Dracos. Okay. So I got the thing sliding. Okay, let's pause it. I got a slideshow going. That's nice. Let's make it bigger. Okay, pause it. That's 2. Okay, right there. Okay. So, most of my accounts, out of 10, there are 4 that don't have the basic 10,000 actual, they don't have the 10,000 actual payment. 4 of them don't have that. Okay? Alright? So 4 of them just have the basic 10,000 payment. There are 2 of them that have 20,000 per score point. 20,000 per score point. And this is, I want to tell you, I'm going by my results, right? I don't know anybody else's account. I haven't seen anybody else architect payment. So I'm just going by what I see in my accounts. Being that I have 10 accounts, I actually can compare. That's right. Times 2. There are 2 accounts that I'm getting times 2. But wait, there's more. And you're going to be surprised. Okay? There are also 2 accounts that actually even get more. This is Lord Dracos. Lord Dracos, okay? Lord Dracos, if you notice, the score point is 15. So I get 15 points for COL 359 sector XOQ D531, and the payment is 600,000. 600,000. 600,000. Okay? That's Lord Dracos. I also have Kanako, one of my favorite Japanese names. Kanako gets, for 8 points, 240,000. So, out of 10 accounts, 6 of them have the normal 10,000 payment. 6 of them have the normal 10,000 payment. 2 of them have a 20,000 per score point payment. 20,000 per score payment. Another one has 30,000 per score point. 30,000 per score point. And Lord Dracos has 40,000 per score point. 40,000. Okay. So, you know, being that I'm like an idiot and I have to do analysis, I had to see what the difference is between all these accounts. One time I was complaining and I told you guys that I got 11 million payment, right? And it was just 1 week, and then after that I didn't get it. But I'm always in construction. I'm always building. So I think I hit a benchmark, and then it went away when I finished that construction. Okay? So what is the difference between all these accounts? Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Don't worry about the happiness. The happiness only reduces, minus happiness only reduces your payment. Don't worry about the happiness. The happiness can be fixed. Happiness can be fixed. I'm going to fix the happiness in those systems actually when I do some construction. No. It's not that. It's actually what you build in your systems. What you build in your systems. There's 2 factors that are common with 3 out of the 10 accounts. I have more extraction systems than the other accounts. So out of 3 accounts, I have more extraction systems. Like for instance, Sir Dracos and Lord Dracos both have more than 3 more extraction systems. Okay? Like for instance, Sir Dracos, and I'm glad I actually have all these accounts because I wouldn't actually see this if I didn't. I have 13 systems with Sir Dracos. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 systems. No, they're not near each other. They're all spread out. 6 systems, okay, that are extraction. 6 systems. Lord Dracos has 4 out of 11 systems that are extraction. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Lord Dragster has 4 out of 11 are extraction. Sir Dragster, 5, what is it, 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 13. Okay. 6 systems out of 13 are extraction systems. In other words, you go to those systems and they'll say extraction in the description. Okay? Alright, Jasper, you getting it? So you go to those systems and they'll say extraction in those systems. Alright? So 6 out of the 13 are extraction, 4 out of the 11 are extraction. Out of my 10 accounts, okay, wait, relax for a second. Gives buff when you have multiple systems unified in economies. Okay. Right. Okay. So, what's the difference between that and Lord Dracos? Lord Dragster. Or Dracos. Was it Lord Dracos? Yeah, Lord Dracos. Lord Dracos has 2 systems, and 2 are both extraction. Okay? Now, is this the only economy that affects your payment? No, it's not. Because Kanako has 1.5 out of 2 systems in industrial. Okay? Okay. Now get me what I'm saying to you. Kanako is 1 out of 1.5 out of 2. Okay, I'm trying to get to a point, Jasper. Just getting to a point. 1.5 out of 2 industrial. So the 2 actual effectors is industry and extraction. So far, I don't know about any other economy that actually affects the payment. Okay? So Lord Dragster and Sir Dragster, Lord Dragster and Sir Dragster, okay, Sir Dragster is getting 20,000 per point. Okay? 20,000 per point. Kanako is getting 30,000 per point. And lastly, Lord Dracos is getting 40,000 per point. So this is my analysis so far. And the 2 economies which gives you this boost is industrial and extraction. Now, last night I started running around and kind of looking at my systems, and I deleted some things, a lot of things actually. I deleted a lot of things and I started construction on new things so I can move. On my main account, I can move about 9 systems to an industry. I don't know what the percentage cutoff is for instance, if you have multiple economies. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, if multiple economies, how it affects the payment. But here is the result. If I have, because my main account has 470, was it 470 points? My main account has, 470 points. If I can get those nine systems to industrial, and it actually moves the needle, where I'm getting more, I can earn about 14 million credits. 14 million credits for just currently having what I have. No new construction, no new whatever. So I don't know what factors affect the payment. I don't know if I don't know right now at this point if population affects the payment, if what other factors affect the payment. But I know for a fact that having certain amount of, I would say, extraction or industrial systems will give you excess money. And what is the number? What is the number? Well, at 100%, I've noticed at 100%. Here's the actual synopsis. At 100%, okay, either extraction or industrial, you get 40,000 per point. At 67% and above, because it's not 75. It's not 75. It's not what you're saying. Right. 30,000 is at 67%. 67%. Okay, is 30,000. And at 34%, it's 20,000. Because I have systems that are at 50%, at 75%, and it's not giving me the payment. So it looks like it's 67%, 34%. It's like in thirds, right? So I think it's in thirds. Now, how do you manipulate your payment? So you can have a feeder system where you put everything in there. You can have a feeder system as long as you maintain a certain amount of, let's say, the money makers, right? So the money makers would be industrial and extraction. So that's fairly easily done, because all you really need to do is boost. You just need to have one planet and a T1. The T1, if you go through your list of T1s, there's one that's industrial. And some of these guys that are in the Mycan, Mercs of Mycan, they don't really go and tell you, or they don't actually share information. But I was wondering why the fuck they would have 6 or 7 T1s in the system all being industrial. So they must already know this information. Okay? But it's not public anywhere else. It's not public anywhere else. So you have some movers that will give you either extraction or industrial. In extraction, you have the satellites, or the mining satellites or mining settlements that are in orbit. Like, I'm going to go to this system. Let me get out of this. And here, around these rings, I built prospecting stations. Okay, prospecting stations. These are easily built. They're very cheap to build. And then you can make them extraction pretty easy. I think overall, the extraction systems are the hardest to maintain. They'll flip into some other kind of economy. Okay, I believe they'll flip into some other economy with just an addition of a station or something. So I think the easiest ones are industrial, but in this case, for instance, you have a lot of ring systems, you can add an extraction all over. And all you need is maybe one T2 that picks up the actual extraction economy. Are they all around numbers per point, like 10,000, or not to 10,237? They're various. Like the most common one I have is 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I'm getting 10K per point. Average 10K per point, right? Not rounded down or rounded up. 10K per point. It's just 10,035, whatever, per point. Okay? So 6 out of 10, I'm getting 10K per point. Okay? 2 out of 10, I'm getting I'm getting 20k per point. Okay? And 1 out of 10, I'm getting 30k per point. 1 out of 10, I'm getting 40k per point. Okay. So that's actually, I would say that's actually, let's remove that and put a 1 out of 10, 40k per point for prosperity. People watching this, they're wondering what the hell's going on. Okay, so how do you affect your payment? And I've said this to you guys before. You heard me say it. Holy shit, this game sucks. Colonization sucks. You don't make anything out of it. Well, that's not true. This can be the biggest fucking moneymaker you can ever imagine. Now, if you get 5 million, if you're at, let's say you're at 67%. Okay, 67% or 68%, let's say. 68%, okay, would give you 30k per point. Okay, so let's say you have 160 points, which is not hard to do. It really is not hard to do to get 160 points. So let's say you have 165 points. Okay, that would be 5 million. Okay, that would be 5 million. So if you're at 68% industrial or extraction, you can't be both. It can't be a combination of both. I've noticed that I have an overwhelming amount of combinations. It can't be a combo of both. It has to be either pure industrial or pure extraction. Either or. So I think that the actual breakpoints are the 34, 67, and 100. They're in thirds. I think that's the actual breakpoints, the actual benchmarks. So if you have like 165 points at 30k, that's 5 million. But you need to have extraction or industrial. Of those 68%, they all have to be industrial or extraction. So you have to keep them in that economy. You have to keep them in that economy in order for you to make this money. Now, this is significant because this is passive income. Once you've done, think about this. Once you've done the work, okay, and they're laying out there in the black, that's it. So you get the 5 million for that system. If you have 10 of those, that's 50 million a week. If you have 10 of those, that's 50 million a week. So you can actually, because that number affects all of your colonies. So some of them you might have 500 points in one colony. So you would get 30,000 per point. Okay? 30,000 per point. So you can have 10 colonies that are actually giving you 5 million. That's 50 million. Every week. Every week without having you to do anything else. And that is amazing. That pays for how many fleet carriers? Okay? That pays for how many fleet carriers? So even the shittiest fucking systems, like last night I was going through like systems that are close by, next to my hub, within like 4 light years, 7 light years or whatever. There's some shitty fucking systems that only have no landable settlements available, but they can have orbital stuff. And there's like 6 gas giants. Well, that's great. I can build extraction. In that system. Okay? So you can take the shittiest system and turn it into an extraction. Okay? You can turn the shittiest system into extract, or you can turn the shittiest system into an industrial. So it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, let's say I only have four orbitals, right? Well, I can build four T1s, and that'll give me the industry. Because there are T1s that you can build. You can build an industrial T1, right? It's industrial, agriculture, colony, pirate. So it's got different variations. But I've seen people putting 2 and 3 T1s in one orbit. So I said, why the fuck are they doing that? Now I figured out how and why. Okay, you're gonna turn the economy into an industrial, thereby boosting your monthly payment, your weekly payment. Okay, so the breakpoints I think is 34, because I have 50%, but they didn't change. So I looked through the numbers and I saw 50 something percent, they didn't change, and I saw 25% it didn't change. So I'm guessing, and I want to say I'm guessing, okay? I'm guessing that the actual the benchmarks are in thirds. 34%, 67%, and 100. Okay? So out of all my 10 accounts, that's what I picked up. So I have 6 out of 10 that give me 10K, 2 out of 10 that give me 20, and 1 out of 10 that give me 30. Now, if I can raise my payment where at least out of the 10 I can raise my payment per week, I'm making more money. Now I have 10 accounts. Imagine 50 million times 10, that's 500 million every week without having to do anything extra. And building a system that is extraction or industrial, not hard to do. Right? It's really not hard to do. Do weak, strong bonds, or whatever they are called, matter from what you're telling me? I think that if you build, now remember, T1 is 3 points, and I think a T2 is 8 points, and a T3 is 15 points. Okay, so most often than not, you're gonna find that the planet that the flags around will have some settlements you can build on the surface and some in orbit. Well, all you need to do is build a T1 that's industrial. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to do some testing, and I'll come back and tell you guys. But I believe that if you build an extra T1 in orbit, that industrial station, because it's an industrial station, will affect the T2 that's in orbit. So in other words, have a T1 and a T2 in the same orbit. So that's what I'm going to actually do in the next few weeks, is try to build that out and see if that's the case. Like, I'll have a T2 and a T1 in the same orbit. Will T2 be affected by the T1? Because the T1 is an industrial station. Okay, like if you look at the T1 list, it's commercial, colony, industrial, pirate, colony. What else? So it's commercial, colony, industrial, pirate, scientific. So you do have different T1s. So the T1s are kind of like their own little factories themselves. Okay, so the weak link doesn't matter. Like, you can, I think if you build enough stuff, industrial or extraction stations, okay, it'll actually affect the system. Okay, so for instance, like this one has a bunch of stuff here. And if I build more, and I was worried about that, because if I build extractions down here, if I build more stuff down here, how is that going to affect the economy? But I can actually just fucking go crazy and build a whole bunch of industry here and change the economy. Okay? Because I have actually, this system has, this is my main system, my main feeder system. And I still have 47 orbitals I can do, and 52 ground settlements. So I can actually, from now on until I die, I can actually do industrial and everything, and then change the economy of the system. Okay. So, but right now I don't know if I want to do that. I might want to leave this alone. But my point is that it doesn't take much to get to go and colonize a new system. You lay down a T1 that's industrial, and then you build some ground stations. You build some ground stations or orbital stations that give you industrial. Yeah, this one has like 80 something. I don't know how many bodies. It's a pretty big system. It's one of my first colonies that I built. So for instance, on this one, this is a great little body for extraction, right? It's an actual high metallic content planet. So I can actually do industry or extraction on this. Okay. On rocky bodies, I can do industrial or extraction. Ice bodies, I can still do industrial. It's not going to give the same effect, but I can still do industrial. So that's overall the to summarize. If you actually focus on either extraction or industrial, it's got to be either or. You can't do both combined. Either extraction or industrial. You can boost your payment. You can boost your payment on all your systems. On all your systems by having a percentage of them be either industrial or extraction. And I believe so far, based on the numbers that I have, because I have 10 systems, right? I believe it's 34%, 34, 67, 100. It's in thirds. That's what I believe. I don't think it's in quarters, because then there'll be more numbers. Like these, I have a 75%er, right? And that's Kanako, but she's getting 30,000. So according to my system, she should be getting 40,000, right? So it's 75%. She should be getting 40,000. Now what I'm gonna do is build another industrial station for Kanako and see if that gets over the, if it's over 75% and I build another industrial station, that'll be like 80 something, 90%. Basically what that will do is it'll boost my payment to 40,000. So I will let you guys know as I'm building these. I'll let you. I need to do a lot more testing, but I wanted to put this out there so if you guys see this happening to you, you know what it is, and you basically can come back and say, hey, this happens, this happens, that. I really don't know how, if you start construction in systems, if that affects the payment. That's one question. If you're starting construction in the system and you're rebuilding, does that affect the payment? Right? That's a question I have. If you start construction in the system, does that affect the payment? Another question I have is multiple economies. How does that affect the payment? Does it have to be the first one? What are the percentages? So there's more detail that I don't have, because like I have a lot of systems that are multiple economies, but it won't be too hard to switch those systems to full-blown pure industrial or pure extraction. So that's what I'm working on now. Okay, so I'm working on finding out two things, which is what are the levels? Is it 34, 67, 100, or is it 25, 50, 75, 100? But I have things at 50 something percent, but it's not going higher, right? Still staying at 20,000. Like for instance, Sir Dragster is at 52%, but he's not going over to 30,000. So pretty much it'd probably be easier. So let's say you only have one or two systems. It'll probably be very, very easy just to find some shit system and then put some industrial there and just focus on one industry. Extraction is going to be harder because you need extraction planets or extraction gas giants. So I think extraction will be harder to do. Okay, harder to achieve. That's going to be a harder build. But industrial is going to be easy. You can put industrial anywhere. Okay, so that's my take right now on this. I'm going to actually clip this. So it's 1 minute, 1 hour, 11 minutes. So I'm going to actually clip this and then put it in the videos. But that's what I found out. So if you destroy sites, will it take a week for the tick to... that's another thing. I think population affects the payment. Like, for instance, Kanako, I noticed the Kanako got less payment the week before. She got normal payment the week before, but one of her systems went over 1 million the following week, population. So it was below 1 million the week before, and it went over 1 million the week after. So does that affect also? And I would say it probably does, because you could have a whole bunch of T1s, and that's not good. They're not going to give you the payment for that because you're not over a certain threshold, right? So basically, what I'm saying to you is the population might also affect the actual payment or the actual system, and that would make sense, because then you can just build a bunch of T1 industrial stations and go crazy and not build anything else. And so I think they put the population in there to affect the payment. Like if it's less than a certain amount, they're not going to give you the credit for that system. So Kanako wasn't making anything because her population was low. So on both systems it went over 1 million, and I basically got the full 30,000. Okay, 30,000 per point. So I think the population affects it. I think destroying sites also affects it. Okay, so I'll find out in the next following weeks, because I'm destroying, like in one system, I'm destroying like 6 different locations, and I'm going to rebuild. So I'm going to be doing that very, very soon. So these are things I have questions about. These are things I'm probably going to get answers from by doing it. So I think the population does affect it, because then that means that you've done more construction in that system. Okay, so in order to get credit for it, either extraction or industrial, you basically have to have a certain population size. Okay, so and that's what I'm seeing so far. Like if the population is not there, it's not going to actually. And of course, YouTube has to give me problems. I swear to God, I'm sending them 10 megabytes per second, and they're still idling me. So again, just to repeat what I actually said. Just to repeat what I actually said. There are benchmarks based on the systems that you have. There are benchmarks that you can increase your weekly allowance, architect payment, every week. And I got this from analyzing the 10 accounts that I have. I got this from analyzing the 10 accounts that I have. And they're basically, at certain points, you start getting more money. Okay? You start getting more money. Jasper says, I will start documenting what I change and what happens. Okay. So if you have 10 systems, if 34% or more of your systems are either extraction or industrial, you're basically going to get 20,000 per point, because they give you certain points per system, right? If your system has more than 67% either extraction or industrial, you're going to get 30,000 per point. 30,000 per point. And if your system are all 100% industrial or extraction, you're going to get 40,000 per point. 40,000 per point. You have to maintain a steady amount, percentage. So if you go below that or whatever, your payment's going to change. And I don't think they give you that credit until your system actually, I think, has some time. Or maybe it's time related or it's population related. I'm not exactly sure at this point. But I have seen my payment go up because my actually population went up in that system. So the payment did go up on Kanako, which was one of my accounts. It did go up because her population went up. Okay? So the more things you build in the system and they're related to that industry, the more money you're going to make, because you're going to add more population to that system. Okay? So that will affect your payment. And this is a big money-making thing. Massive. It's massive. Think about 10 systems giving you 5 million each. That's 50 million. Okay, 50 million. Every single week. That'll pay for your fleet carrier. That'll pay for your squadron carrier. That'll pay for everything. Okay, so if you're getting that money every single week, okay, and you keep adding one a month, one new settlement a month somewhere in space. It doesn't matter where the fuck it is. And it doesn't matter what. Actually, right now I'm looking at the best systems being the smallest ones. Okay, because nobody wants them. And there's stuff hanging over gas giants. So I can build a bunch of extraction that way. Those extraction satellites. Okay, so the best systems, it doesn't matter if you get 1 million freaking planets in that system or 10 planets in that system. Okay, if you maintain a certain point, a certain percentage, okay, it's basically it's gonna give you the money that on the other ones. So if you have a 100 and the thing is 165, right? So if you have, for instance, 67% of your systems are industrial. Okay, and you have most of them at 165 points. That's going to be 5 million. Okay, because you're going to get 30,000 per point. Okay, 30,000 per point. And so you want to hit the 5 million benchmark. I was wondering why the fuck they put the 5 million, because they figure you could make more. You know, FDev is thinking, shit, these guys can make 14 and 15 and 30 million on a, like, for instance, my system that I got has 470 points. I'm not even finished yet. So I can go to 1,000 points. Well, if I have 1,000 points and I'm getting 30,000 per point, that's 300, what is that, 300 million? Okay? So the FDev thought in their brains, these guys can make more on that, so let's put a cap on it. But I never wondered why there's a cap. I never thought about it. Never thought, why is there a cap? Why is there... I didn't think about it, right? I just complained that fucking colonization doesn't pay you anything. Well, that's completely and utterly false now. It's completely and utterly false. Colonization is probably the best money maker in this game, because once you're finished, once you actually finished and you built your systems out, and you got to do a little planning. This is not like, okay, fuck, I'm just going to colonize this place and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Once you've done the planning, because you have to plan this out, you got to maintain a certain percentage, right? So you got to do a little bit of planning. So when you're building out your core, like you have some core systems that have 165 points. When you're building out your core, you want to maintain a certain level, like which ones are industrial, which ones are extraction. You can't do a combo of both. So if you're going down the path of extraction, you're going to have to look for systems that you can do extraction in. That means rocky bodies, that means high metal content worlds, that means gas giants, right? So you're going to have to focus on that. If you focus on the industrial, you still have to focus on those sites, but now it's easier because you can use any location for an industrial. Any location. So I think the easiest path is getting industrial systems. The easiest one. And that's where on Dragster, I have... Last night I actually went through all my systems, and I have 7 locations where I'm going to change 7 systems. I'm going to actually change them to industrial and see if I can get a 67% payout, because that would mean a ton of cash. A ton of cash for Dragster. It would probably be about, I calculate about 14 million. Okay? 14 million on all my systems. And, it's a good start, but I want more. Right? I want more. So, stay tuned. Colonization has become interesting now. Colonization has become very interesting now. If every week I can make 50 million without having to do anything. Okay, literally, you can make that money without having to do anything. Okay, just enough to pay your fleet carrier if that's what you want. If that's what you want, then just do that. But you can keep on adding new colonization systems. If you're going the route of industrial, keep adding industrial stations and industrial settlements. If you're going the route of extraction, look for extraction locations. Okay, high metal content, rocky bodies, gas giants. But this is huge, Jasper. It's fucking huge, dude. When I looked at it last night, I couldn't sleep last night. I said, fuck it, I gotta tell everybody. But I don't know details. Like, FDev loves to nerf. So I don't have details as to when you start new construction in that system, what happens. If you're deleting, or what's the population size you need to have. So far I've seen it's like 1 million. You got to have 1 million to actually trigger the actual payment, right? And I think it's time related. So that's the time, like you have to have that system unchanged for I don't know how many weeks. So it's got to stay industrial for how many weeks. Okay, and then maybe the population. So that's so far that's what I've seen. Okay, that's what I've seen. But this is massive. This is massive. For me, it's massive because it means that I have 72 systems, 10 accounts. Okay, so that means I can actually generate massive amounts of cash flow. Massive amounts of cash flow, which will help my payments for the fleet carriers, for new ships, for whatever, right? So that's what it means. So, but I don't have to play. So if I go on vacation for 4 weeks, I've made 200 million already. You know what I mean? For one system. And if I have 10 accounts, that's 2 billion. Just going on vacation. I go on vacation. Oh, I don't have to worry about my fleet carrier. I'm not worried about it. I got money coming in anyway. So it's passive income. And in the world of finance, in the world of economy, passive income is the best. What's up, Ian? How you doing, buddy? So I'm going to clip this, but I'll keep on reiterating. I'll actually bring it up again. if you haven't watched this video so far, I'll bring it up again. You guys can you can look it up,
Detach confirmed.
and
Take the lead until clear of the station perimeter.
you can find out what changes, or if I have any kind of, because actually if you ChatGPT this, ChatGPT says that the payment you're gonna get is 10,000 only, but ChatGPT is wrong. ChatGPT is wrong, so do not go by what ChatGPT says. I'm actually gonna see if I can upgrade the ChatGPT and give it the proper information. But this is huge, guys. This is massive. This is massive, and it's gonna change the way you actually colonize. It's gonna change the way you actually colonize, and you don't no longer have to be. I think rocky ice bodies are good for anything. No, rocky bodies will be good for extraction. Also, if you see geological sites, so let's say it's an icy body but it has geological sites, that's going to be extraction. Like if you have like there's tons of planets like that. Okay. So I have tons of geological sites on ice planets. Like I have one system that had like 7 geological sites on 7 different planets. So those can all be extraction. So, but mind you, I think extraction will be harder to actually do than industrial. So, FYI, pick your poison, but whatever you choose, you got to stick with that. Whatever you choose, you got to stick with that. As of 2 days ago, I thought you could only make money in extraction. But then I saw that you're getting money for industrial also. Okay, so that is the big reveal, guys. I hope you enjoyed so far. You enjoyed this video. I hope this is going to be a benefit for you. Go back and you can actually review and rewind this video when it goes from live to archive. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to actually clip it and do another video with it. Okay? Money-making method to colonization, which is by far the best way to make money in Elite Dangerous right now. The best way. It is the best way. It's passive income. Passive income. And it pays off your fleet carrier. So my goal right now is all 10 accounts to be self-sustaining, where the fleet carriers are all being paid for. That's my goal. So I don't have to run the accounts. They can just stay like that. Yeah, Jasper, you're welcome, buddy. This is massive, and I wanted to actually get it out there. I'm probably gonna put it on the forums and have people come to the website, but it's big deal, because on Reddit the information is wrong. They say that you need to have more than the 10 systems to get the extra payment, but it's not true. Okay, so I have 2 systems and I got the extra payment, so that's not true. So on Reddit, the Reddit post that they have there, it's not accurate, right? So, and ChatGPT is off. ChatGPT is definitely off. I think it's huge. Because you can manipulate your gameplay now dramatically. Okay, even enough to pay if you can pay your fleet carrier, it's good enough, right? So that you don't have to worry about it. But 10 accounts, I have all my fleet carriers paid for. I'm fucking happier than pig and shit. I'm dead serious. So that's basically what I found out. So when you colonize, be wary of how you colonizing. Be wary of what you colonizing. Okay. All right. So I'm changing my hub. Okay, let's talk about hubs. You can have a hub where you have refineries, but it's still industrial. Like this system that I'm in right now, it says high tech. That's because it has a dodec. It has a lot of high tech locations that I built. But I can probably maneuver this system to industrial by adding more industrial stations. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure if I want to do that, but if you're building hubs where you're actually having a feeder, it's a feeder system, and you're actually sending your accounts or your tunes or whatever you have to the feeder system so that you can load up, then maybe you don't want to change that economy. You just want to leave that as is and just work on other systems. Yeah, that's what I thought, man. I thought that you can easily do 7 million, 8 million. I don't know what your carrier payment is, but then you can easily also do 15 million. And this actually gives me the answer as to why they cap it at 5 million. Why FDev capped it at 5 million. Okay? Because you can take a system, you can have 1,000 points and take a system to, you know, like you can take a system to 30,000 a point. Yes, 300 million. Okay, or is that 30 million? Let me see. So if you have 30,000 times 1,000 points, yeah, it's 30 million. So they capped the system at 5 million for a reason. Okay, because they didn't want you making too much money. You know, because then you can do this. So think about this. That's an exploit. So you have one of these systems that I have right now, right? I just have one system, and I do only industry. So that's 100%. Okay? And there's no cap. And I have 1,000 points. So I literally can make 40 million off of just one system. So I don't need to colonize anymore. So by putting a cap, they're guaranteeing that we're going to keep going, that we're going to keep colonizing. It's like fucking cheese and a carrot on a stick kind of thing. Cheese for the rat. So that's what I think. Someone in Frontier working overtime doing paint jobs. Seen so many. Okay, Ian, if you join the stream, we're talking about colonization right now. Get on board, because the information I gave everybody right now, is brand new. No one else has come up with this information. There is nothing on the internet about it. Not even ChatGPT actually has the answer that I actually just gave you. Okay? So, colonization can be the biggest money maker in this game by far. Okay? By far. So, it can pay for your fleet carrier, it can pay for different things. It can maintain a certain amount. No, don't worry about it. But it's working on colonization so far. That's what I'm saying. If it converts to in industrial, okay, but it might be easier for you, Jasper, to colonize 2 or 3 other systems and switch the economy. You know, it will give those economies the industry. And you don't have to do anything with your system, delete and whatever. It'll be easier just to have those other ones industrial. But you gotta have the population also. I'm thinking you have to have I think the population matters. Okay, population means construction. So you have to construct things in that system. So like a T2, like a Coriolis, and some ground settlements. It can't just be a T1 and that's it. So that's my observation so far, guys. Take it for what it is. Rewind this video, watch it a few times. If you have if you have any kind of observations, anything that you picked up, write it in comments. I read comments every single day. Write in comments and tell me what your observation is, so I can bring it to the forefront. I'm actually gonna go on the forums, and I'm gonna actually post this on the forums. I'm gonna post the video because I don't really want to type. I fucking hate typing. Okay. Yeah, so you can actually build T1s, industrials. Right? I don't know how many that is. How many that would be? Like maybe 3, maybe 2. I don't know how many that will affect. So T1 industrials will flip your system. Okay. Another thing. One thing. If you have military systems, I'm gonna try to see if I can flip a military system to industrial. So that's one thing I'm experimenting with. So military systems, I'm going to try to flip dual economy systems to just pure industrial. So I'm doing a few experiments. So I'll be doing that in the next few weeks to see if I can do that, if I can flip the systems, if I can actually change the economies, how that's going to affect the economies, etc. So, or is the economy static? It just remains that way from the beginning. Okay, so if you started off industrial, it stays industrial. I don't know. But right now, there's a lot of I don't knows and a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to get answers to. I wish Jack was here, because Jack is heavy-duty colonizer, and he actually can help out. But check out what you're doing, analyze it, write it down, bring it to the forefront. Tell us what you found out. If you find something different than what I've said, let me know. So far, that's the benchmarks that I wrote down, is what I actually what I believe they are. Okay, so let me see. 5394. 5394. So the benchmarks that I put down, the 34%, 67%, and 100% is what I believe they are. Every third of your systems are counted for the tally, right? So, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. So if it's different and you found something different, let me know. Let me know so I can bring that to the forefront. But so far, that's what I've noticed. And this is only because I have 10 accounts. Only because I have 10 accounts. So basically, I have 10 accounts, and I notice that so many of them get 10,000. Some of them get 20,000. Some of them, one of them, or get 30,000. Another one gets 40,000 per point. And that's a big deal. I said, how the fuck does that happen? And then I noticed that industrial and extraction changes that. Yeah, just Discord. Then you can do it in Discord, dude. You can do it in Discord. That'll be fine. I got to go to the forums and get some actual interest, because I need more people. If the actual test subjects, or there's more people doing this. Of course I'll get some kind of fucktard that says, "Oh, I know this already. I know this for a whole year." Well, why don't you tell us, fucktard? Why don't you bring it up? But there are people gonna be like that. They're like, "Oh, I knew this forever. I knew this," but I haven't found it online. I haven't found it on Reddit. I haven't found it on the forums. ChatGPT doesn't know. So I'd like to have a bigger sample size. So if there's more people actually doing this stuff, then we can get a better result, and we can get some right numbers, some real numbers, right? Some actual numbers. But this is an incredible find for me, in my point of view. When I looked at this, I'm like, fuck. That's what we've been missing. Because FDev doesn't actually come out and say, hey, here's the manual on colonization. They don't do that. Yeah, want me to let some of them know, or do you want me to do it yourself? You can do whatever you want, dude. You can tell people. Just spread the news, because this is amazing news. Colonization becomes different at this point. And you don't have to... Even suns, just basically shitty systems that have no planets, you can turn into industrial, right? Or extraction. So you basically, yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. More people know about this, the better. The more people know, the better. Whatever you feel, Jasper. Use Discord right now, because I wanted to bring this out. Because I want to test. I want a test sample. I want a larger test sample. So if more people know about this, they can come and say, hey, this is this way, this is that way, this happens when I do this. Like, I have some questions, right? Does population affect the payment? Starting construction in the system, does that null and void that system until you finish construction? So there's a few questions I have, right? The dual economy systems, how is that broken down? Like, the percentage for the dual economy, is it 0.5? Is it 0.4? Is it 0.3? What's the percentage? Like, we don't really have any answers to those things, right? So I have a lot of dual economy systems, but I have no idea what the breakdown is, right? What's the percentage of breakdown? Do only pure system count in the count, in the tally, so they can give you more money? So there's a lot of questions, right? Yeah, that's the whole thing about finding out. I got 10 test subjects, so I can actually do a lot more. So I'm going to be doing a lot of colonization, a lot of colonization in the next few weeks. So just to find out what the actual, and I know Meccan hasn't put this in his manual. No one has actually this information. When I told Kix about this, I'm like, he was surprised too. I said, there's no information out there. There's nothing out there. Nothing. Nobody has this information. So, and it's probably because I'm fucking obsessive and I have to have 10 accounts that actually this happens. Now, another thing is I have 2 accounts that I haven't started any construction, any colonization. So I'm going to actually do that with those 2 accounts. I'm going to do 1 extraction, 1 industrial, and see what happens with the payment. When do I get more money? Yeah, it's not there, Jasper. This is brand new shit. This is like, it's not there. This is the first time anybody's bringing this up. On Reddit, there's nothing there. ChatGPT, no idea. Okay? Because I asked it, well, why am I making more? Why am I making 20,000 for this? Why am I making 30,000 for this? Why am I making 40,000 for this? And then I thought, Jasper, that it might be the economies, right? It goes into boom, and that's why you're making more, but it's not that. For instance, Lord Dracos, the 2 economies, they're not boom, bust, or anything else. Okay? So it's just so there's no what do they call that? There's nothing affecting the actual economy. There's nothing affecting on it. So it's actually just the type of industry in that system. So there's nothing like this on the internet. Nothing. Nobody. Not even Megan came up with this. And he had a whole big fucking anti-Xeno squad that actually was helping him build out systems. So there's really nothing on this anywhere. Just FYI. So this is brand new shit. Hope that it'll be good for you, that you actually it helps you out. Structural regulators, 465 times 2. Let's do copper. I hope this helps you out. I hope you make a lot of money with this information. And you live long and prosper, as Spock would say. But for me, I think this is amazing news. I could have kept it for myself, but that's not my nature right now. Yeah, I'll get the clip after this video is done. I'll get the clip done, because I gotta clip out about 40 minutes of the video and make a separate video for it. But the numbers, the statistics of it, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it's 34% or 35%, 68%, you know, so I'm not exactly sure. So the numbers, I'm not exactly sure if that's an accurate number. And then there's a lot of what if this, what if that. So as I learn new things, I will let you guys know. Evacuation shelter 112. As I learn new things, I will let you guys know what I've learned. Okay. And I will post it. And I will make videos of it. I'll update. Yeah, take care, man. Thank you. Oh, Ian's leaving? I thought he's staying. Okay, Ian's leaving. I got some love. Take care. Yeah. It's fucking big deal, dude. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for me. I'm like, whoa, man. Whoa, big deal. But check out the video. See what you get. 112 food cartridges. See what you can do with your colonies. Let us know in Discord. Let us know in Discord. 76 fruits and vegetables. Now, don't mind me that I do it this way. I'm just old-fashioned. I'm an old person, so I like pen and paper. I like doing it this way. It's better for me. Kind of gives me satisfaction knowing I finished something. Fruits and vegetables. Survival equipment. 56. So I'm trying to build these two refineries in the system. I fucked up. Okay, I completely fucked up. Resonating separators. And what I did was, yeah, they're not gonna be here. Okay. I completely fucked up, and I did, two refineries and two high-tech stations, settlements, and there was only, and I built two T3s, which wasn't enough. So I had to delete the high-tech and add two more refineries. So hopefully the actual both T3s will stay refinery. So that's the experiment now. Right, the planet itself is an ice world, so it takes on industrial. You know, it gives you like one link industrial. So one of the T3s turned into industrial station, which is not what I wanted. I wanted to stay refinery. Okay. But basically, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'm gonna post the actual clip and into the videos, and make sure you guys watch it, spread it,
Signing off.
spread the news,
Frameshift drive charging. 4,
and use it for your benefit.
engage.
Anyway,
Orbital flight engaged.
I'll let you guys know in the next few weeks what I'm doing, because I do have, in one case I'm deleting like 6 settlements and rebuilding the settlements and the system. But I'll let you guys know what changes I've made and how that affected the system. But I do believe that population has a lot to do with it. It actually affects your payment. I do believe that you gotta have a certain amount of settlements built in that system to get the credit.
Deployed.
And I think it's related to population. I want to be honest with you. So I'll see what happens. I'll see what happens with my other systems, and I'll see how it works. And I'll let you guys know what I've done. One way of finding out if the population is the case is to look at the systems that are just extraction only. What do I have in those systems that give it the credit, right? So I'll find out, and I'll add more videos and more information as I'm testing out the different things. But this is where I close my video and I stop, and I want to say 07 to you guys. Come back and watch the future streams as I actually update this information. And 07 Commanders, fly dangerously but stay frosty.